Well, it's quite a success story for PMC-TV with Eric Corkish some months ago. You may remember reading about it also in the papers that Eric was having problems in his mobility scooter being allowed on buses. And when he came to us, I think, Eric, it's true to say things moved quite quickly, didn't it, initially? You had some success.
Yeah, after we recorded that, Mr. Bates, who had taken over as the boss of the Isle of Man bus service, contacted me, and we had a meeting where we tried my buggy on the bus, and everything worked fine, and he gave me a letter for 2 months to do a trial on the buses.
Now, that was our success part of it, but now you're back on to me because things have changed again?
Yeah, well, like I say, that was in September when that started, and everything was going along good. I'd been riding on the bus for 4 months, and as far as I was aware, everything was going okay. There'd been no problems, and I was told that they were going to try and roll this out for everybody in January. But then I was told that by one of the bus drivers that Mr. Longworth had come back and he's taken over the buses again. And within a week of him being there, I went down to the bus station in Ramsey to travel up to Douglas, as I was doing 4 or 5 times a week. And I was pulled out of the queue and told that they were no longer willing to accept my buggy on the bus on instructions from Mr. Longworth.
How do you feel about that?
Well, it was very embarrassing at the time, to be pulled out. I mean, even one fella come to me and asked did I not have the money to get onto the bus, and he was going to pay for me. And, it's very embarrassing to have to say that I just wasn't allowed on the bus.
Now, we've got these pictures we're rolling, which we recorded in the summer last year, showing the size of this one, because obviously there are big versions of these things, and you got a big one, but this is what it's all down to, isn't it? It's about the size and the weight issue?
Yeah, that's all it is. And like I've said before in the other interview, I've checked in England, and in England, most of the bus companies allow the Class 2 mobility buggies onto their buses. And Mr. Longworth says that there's problems with it, but I had checked, and the companies are allowing buggies on, and it's not a problem. It's only a problem really in Mr. Longworth's eyes.
Okay, well, the personality is out of the minute. You've had it on buses, so have there been any issues?
No, none whatsoever. I've been to where I was going to get on the bus, and there's been somebody in a wheelchair, and of course I give them a priority over me, and I waited for the next bus, which was half an hour later, and getting on and off the buses has not been a problem. Everything was working well, and until this when Mr. Longworth come back, he didn't even inform me before I went to that bus. I didn't have an email off him or a letter of anybody, and I went down to the bus to get on as normal, and just was not allowed to get on.
But you have a letter, don't you, to say everything was okay? So has that been rescinded? Have you had another letter now, updating?
I've had 2 letters. One was an email from Mr. Longworth saying that you couldn't carry these buggies because of the problems where they're unsafe, that the just all these stupid little things that he says were wrong, which, I mean, one of the things he says is the centre of gravity of the buggy is too high. Well, that's just not true, because it's got batteries in the bottom, and it'll sit there. It doesn't move. And this is where it got to. And the letter just told me, he said that it's a problem they're having with mobility buggies through the whole of Europe. Well, again, I went onto the internet, and I looked at France, Spain, Belgium, Germany, and none of the bus companies there have a problem. They allow mobility buggies onto the buses.
Well, one thing I know about you, Eric, is you're not one for taking this lying down. So what do you do now? I mean, are you going to demonstrate or just have meaningful conversations?
I don't know what Mr. Longworth has looked at, but I've certainly looked at the Equalities Act that came in on the 1st of January this year. And I've been in touch with the Cabinet Office who are running the Equality Act, and they have said that they believe that it's not legal what he's done. They are discriminating against me in particular, or buggy users. She's doing research into it, and basically, what she said is that the way to go with this is that they try and get the two parties together and to sort out the problem, and it's done through the Office of Fair Trade. And I've asked them what will happen when if Longworth doesn't change his mind and allow these buggies on, and what happens is you'll be put at the Equalities Tribunal.
And just make it clear, it's all about sizes. I mean, some very small ones are permitted. Is that right in saying that it's all about 1, 2s and 3s or something, ABCs or something like that?
Yeah, it's Class 1 and Class 2, which are the ones that are small enough, as you've seen in the video you took before, where you can pick it up and put it into the boot of a car. And that's, nobody's asking for any more. We're not expecting to get the large buggies on the bus. That would be an impossibility. And all you can do is what I've been doing, and there was no problem, for that 4 months. So why is there suddenly a problem now?
Okay, well, we look forward to hearing from Ian Longworth, maybe, or someone from the department who would like to come back and answer what you've been talking about. In the meantime, we'll follow your story with interest, and hopefully this can be, like last time, resolved. And it seemed that we got it done quite quickly last time. It was very quick, wasn't it?
Yeah, I'm hoping the same will happen now. I did get a letter given to me by hand, which was from Mr. Bates, who now he's been moved down the ladder again, and I've got a letter from him, given all the reasons which we've just talked about of why the buggy shouldn't be allowed on the bus. But the letter is unsigned, and as I understand it, and I've certainly seen his letters before, this letter is not in his style, and he hasn't signed it, which to me makes me wonder, did he write the letter? I don't think he did.
Well, we don't know the answer to that. Maybe, again, we can get that clarified. But we'll keep watching this, Eric, and I'm sure, as I said, you're not one to let this just pass by.
No, I will fight this to the end, and I've got the people who do the Equality Act behind me, that they say that it should be, in this day and age, equal for everybody to be able to get onto a bus.